Hello, and welcome to an Age of Empires 2 1v1 matchup. And I tell you what, it has been a long time since I have sat down to record one of these rather than streaming it or rather than, sitting in a video editor and busting my ass off to make a more structured video. And I'm excited to just roll with it. And I'm excited because we've got a match here between none other than Jordan23 and MBL. That's right, the return of Jordan23, and this will be the first match I cast of him since he returned back to the game a couple of weeks ago. This game is, I think, about a week old now, and I believe Jordan streamed it on his Twitch channel, and I'll link that below the video so you can check that out when he goes live. I'll also link MBL's channel below the video as well, because he also streams from time to time, and I know, in the last video I made about the Condottiero, I said, hey guys, I'm going to focus more on making videos and I'm going to stream a little bit less. And, well, at the moment, I feel like I'm flip-flopping maybe a little bit more than a presidential candidate because I will be streaming again. My internet seems to be okay now, and I'm going to be streaming every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 16 GMT. And I'll also be streaming on Saturdays from 12 GMT as well. So if you want to tune in, come and do that. I'm also running a massive giveaway right now for a $2,000 gaming PC. It's free to enter. The link to that is in the description. But I don't want to take up too much of this video or too much of your time plugging all that stuff. I want to get to the commentary and really look into this game because it's going to be on Arabia. It's going to be a Frank War. And Frank Wars are quite interesting to me. They're quite... Franks are a really awkward civ to play in 1v1. In fact, they're a terrible civ in 1v1 when you're against other civilizations. But obviously in a Frank war, neither player has any big disadvantage or advantage based on their civilization. And it leads to quite interesting matches a lot of the time because the Franks are quite a unusual civilization in how they play out. They have certain objectives that they would love to achieve. They're very much a one-trick pony, as you know, with their fantastic knights. But oftentimes, the other Frank player knows that you want your strong buff knights, and they counter them with a lot of monk play, which I like to see. Oftentimes we'll get to the late game where we'll see a lot of hand cannons, we'll see bombard cannons, we'll see some throwing axemen perhaps, and the Franks are quite, a slow, heavy civ, but they're really fun to watch. Jordan23 having a little trouble getting his boar in here. He is playing in the blue to the west of the map, and to be honest with you, a quick glance at his map, it doesn't look terrible. He has got, reasonable lumber, which is always important. It looks fairly easy to wall off if he wants to make the wall off, thanks to these oases and the tree cover on the front. Obviously, the awkward situation for Jordan is his golden stone, which, although it is quite, I guess, at the back of the map, you could say, it's going to be on the other side of his main wood line. And this area of the map for Jordan is going to be very important. Obviously, he's got 2 gold mines here, a stone mine as well, and his other gold is quite far forward on the front. So Jordan's probably going to want to try and wall this up if he can. And if he can secure this back area of the map, it could be very nice. It's going to come down to MBL to perhaps get some early aggression in and pressure Jordan a lot so that he can't take all this comfortably in the back of his base. MBL is in the green here. He's just pulling his second boar in right now. And his wood line definitely doesn't look as good, does it? I mean, comparing MBL's wood here, which is way in front of his TC, quite close to that gold, but very far away from safety. Comparing that to Jordan23, who's comfortably taking the wood here on the hill at the back, much safer for Jordan. So MBL here with not the best of maps, to be honest with you. It's going to be reasonably comfortable to wall it up across the front, between here and here, between here and here, maybe between these wood lines as well, and then up to the cliff. But there's not really a lot on offer at the back of his base. He doesn't have any safe back gold. His golds are all forward. His wood is forward. And this could leave him in a bit of a bad position later on in the game. We'll have to see. And if I was MBL, I'd perhaps be considering a little bit of a more aggressive playstyle here. It's not uncommon to see the Franks going for a fast feudal into scouts. Already, though, we do see Jordan throwing down a barracks, and it looks like he'll be going into a standard drush. He's actually sending a villager out to the gold right now to grab that extra 10 gold in order to build 3 militia. And he's going to have that drush coming up fairly quickly. MBL's going to see this with his scout, though. If we take a look at his vision, he will see the villager building the barracks, and he knows from the timing that this is likely to be a drush here. However, he's already clicked up to the feudal age, and he's hoping that he can probably get those scouts out fast enough that Jordan's drush won't be too much of a problem. But Jordan will have, of course, identified the map of MBL. He'll see that this wood and gold is so exposed and so far forward, and he'll probably try and pressure that as quickly as possible with the militia coming out right now from the barracks. He's also starting to build a wall down to the south between this wood line and the gold, as expected, because if he does secure this area with this wall off, he's basically got all of this in the back completely safe. He's also walling down from the edge of the map where that stone is in towards the TC to make a choke point, instead of risking it for a chocolate biscuit and coming out at the front. These oases can be very awkward to wall. There's often a lot of holes in them because of the ability to walk around the trees at the shoreline. And so he's going for the safer option, the less holier option, and going to wall it up here. Now, MBL's scouts close by. Gets to the feudal age, he could kill this villager, or at the very least, prevent it from completing the wall. Looking at MBL, though, he doesn't spot the wall off coming up at all, and that's a missed opportunity for him, unfortunately. The drush, on the other hand, is making its way over. There's the stable coming up for MBL as expected. And MBL will indeed wall across here, as I thought earlier on, to secure that wood. Absolutely paramount that he does that, as he also continues to wall in from the wood line towards the TC to once again make a choke point. But this is a very awkward wall for MBL. Look at that. His base is basically contained within this one screen that I'm showing you right now. All of his villagers having to come very far forward. Now, if you look at this, MBL, no farms up just yet. He will start seeding some farms very shortly. But right now, going to be getting those scouts out and heading off. Well, the right thing to do here is to ignore the drush, actually. Just ignore the drush. It can't hurt him if the walls are up. And then just go for the counter-attack. He's already in there with his first scout, his initial scout cavalry, looking at bringing one villager as low as possible. And MBL is probably just thinking to himself right now, damn, did I get dealt a bad hand right here? He's not going to realize that Jordan's completely walled just yet, but he's heading his scout in that direction, and he'll spot that this is completely closed, and it's going to be difficult for Jordan now to do much with those scouts. For MBL to do much with those scouts, as Jordan will completely close off the front of his base. This does make it very difficult for MBL. He might end up chasing down the militia with these scouts, but at the very least, MBL will be quick to transition into farms, and he'll look to try and get a decent castle time off the back of these scouts here. The militia making their way through, taking a lot of damage from the TC. One will go down, one's left at just over half health, but they're going to come into the wood line now. MBL is just going to delete a piece of wall and head them off with his scouts, because that's about all his scouts can do at the moment. Deal with these militia, because on the other side of the map, there's just no opportunity for MBL to strike. Now, this puts Jordan obviously in a very good position. Jordan can get to the castle age much sooner, in theory. He will hit feudal on 28 villagers, which is more than enough to fast castle off the back of. And he'll throw down a stable and a blacksmith, no doubt, and he will be looking towards that castle age quite quickly. However, Jordan is lacking a little bit of wood right now. It's the stable, but he doesn't quite have the 150 wood for the blacksmith. He's also a little bit low on food, but if that's expected, I mean, he's just researched the feudal age, and he'll have the food in just a moment, no doubt. But yeah, he's going to not be maybe as fast as he would like. He didn't take the deer out here, remember? But he should be fairly comfortably up to the castle age anyway. Just taking out MBL's scout here, providing a little bit of scouting info for MBL. Jordan's going to come up with this villager to build the blacksmith, I imagine, right about here. Or maybe he'll delete the wall and put it here. But either way, Jordan here with the stable up, waiting on that blacksmith right now. Where's that wood at? It is just not there for Jordan. There it is. he's got it now, and there's the blacksmith coming up as well. So it's very likely that Jordan will go straight into the knights, and MBL's going to have to put up that defense. I wouldn't be surprised if we see MBL going for a quick monastery once he gets to the castle age. MBL right now is doing wheelbarrow, and he is, by the villager count, 3 villas behind. But with wheelbarrow, that basically is the same as 3 villagers, or the same time to create 3 villagers from the town center. So MBL probably going to be doing pretty well with wheelbarrow here. It's going to really set his farms into high gear, and he's going to be very close behind Jordan to the castle age. So I'm not too concerned about MBL's position here. I think he'll be okay as long as he can protect his villas while he's upgrading to the castle age, and then maybe throw down a monastery. I think he needs the monastery in this situation. Sending a 5th villager, 6th villager over to gold even. It does seem to be like he's heading in that direction. Jordan, though, obviously, you know, he's on the way up to the castle age. He doesn't have the wheelbarrow upgrade, but he's going to have plenty of surplus food from these farms, plenty of gold from these 4 villagers, which have been working since the feudal age, so that he will be able to produce maybe 4 or 5 knights straight out here. And maybe Jordan would be wise to follow this up with a monastery of his own as well, but at the moment he just doesn't have the gold for it. So, you know, it could always be wise to add some scouts, could be wise to add your own monastery when you know that your opponent might try and make a counter play with the monks, because they are really good. I mean, in this situation, I wouldn't be surprised to see MBL going for the monks, but as I say that, I spot him building a 2nd stable, so it might just be that he'll try and outproduce Jordan with 2 stable knights versus the 1. Obviously, right now, his scouting information shows him the single stable from Jordan, and Jordan, on the other hand, you know, maybe might get a little bit greedy, might feel like, hey, you know what, I'm quite safe behind these walls, I'm going to just build up my 2nd TC down here, going to put a 3rd TC up on the gold perhaps, and maybe just boom it out a little bit, which could end up biting him. We'll have to wait and see. I imagine we'll see a TC here. Yeah, there it is. And I've noticed as well, this villager here for Jordan's been idle for quite a while, and I don't want to nitpick, but that has been idle for way too long. Much longer than you would expect. So he needs to probably think about that a little bit more. But yeah, it looks like we're going to see the second TC on the gold. And so Jordan will be quite greedy with this. 1 stable, 1 knight out. He's got no upgrades either. So even MBL's going to notice this here with his scout. He'll see on the scout cavalry from Jordan that there's no upgrades. And yeah, it's not going to be a heavy investment into knights at all. And in this case, I mean, Jordan could... MBL could quite comfortably outproduce Jordan here. He is indeed adding the monastery, though, as expected, as well as a 2nd TC. So not entirely neglecting his economy, but MBL's map is atrocious. He needs to keep map control, I think. He needs to try and push Jordan and punish Jordan for being so greedy on these 3 TCs. But notice one thing here. Jordan is actually building the TCs with just a single villager. Why might he be doing that? Why is he not in such a rush to get those TCs up? Well, if he gets the TCs up super quick, he will find himself running out of food very quickly as well, as he won't be able to have enough food income to support a stable producing knights and 3 TCs making villagers at the same time. So by delaying the TCs coming up a little bit, by only building them with 1 villager, he can get a bit more surplus food, keep his food eco ticking over while those TCs are being built. But Jordan should be fine now. He squeezed out a few more villas, and we'll start throwing down some more farms as soon as he can afford them. Monastery for Jordan as well. And as I said at the start of this game, it's totally not uncommon. Oh, quick wall coming in from MBL there on the mill. That was very nicely done. He's going to force Jordan into the TC as well, get some free damage on that knight. And MBL is outnumbering Jordan right now, 9 military to 6. So he has got the knight advantage. They both have +1 defense, but MBL's just finished +1 attack. So MBL in a good position to strike here. Jordan just getting his first monk out, but he's got to be careful. If that monk comes to the right side, it's going to be very close to the knights. Fortunately for Jordan, the monk comes inside of his walls. He changed the gather point just here, look, as you can see. And obviously that will force MBL away. So things are starting to hot up now. We've got a lot more military production coming into full swing. We've got the monks out. We've got the Wololo warriors out on the field. And we're going to see some conversions coming in, but this kind of monk play from both players really stalls things out a little bit. It's difficult to commit to a fight when your opponent, is threatening the monks. So in this position, Jordan can very much stall with these two monks. He can heal up his army. He can threaten MBL with some conversions, waving his warlords in the air like he just don't care. And MBL is basically kind of forced to hold the middle ground right now, and at the same time, he doesn't have that third TC. So MBL, if he wants to push this, he can't just, well, he either overwhelms Jordan with a lot more knights so that the conversions don't really halt his push, which is very risky because they can very easily overwhelm you. Or he masses more monks and pushes forward with the monks and reconverts any units and ends up just winning the conversion war. He could do it with just the two stables here, but he will indeed add the third TC. So while the game is in a little bit of lull, I did say that I was going to be streaming more. I will be streaming every Monday to Friday from 16 GMT, just as a reminder. That includes today, and what I plan to do is upload a game commentary. I know that not everybody can watch the stream, so I'll be doing a game commentary every stream day and uploading that as well, so that if you can't catch the stream, you'll at the very least get a casted expert game in your subscription feed on YouTube. And I think that's a pretty fair deal, isn't it? It's pretty sweet for you guys. Anyway, I'll stop blowing my own trumpet here, and we'll look over at MBL Zico. He is behind by 7 villagers. He's got quite a way to catch up. And now he's up to 3 TCs. He's going to struggle to keep night production going, I believe. No, he's going to be okay, actually. He's got enough farms up, but it's going to be a little tight for a few moments. But at the moment, yeah, I mean, he's got 1 relic in. He's just kind of holding the middle ground, still waiting for him to make the push and make that commitment. He's having a little bit of a poke here with a scout cavalry to see what's going on, and that was a nice move. We kind of missed it, but you see the dead scout from MBL there? He did come forward and just to kind of see what Jordan was doing, and he only would have seen 2 monks, so he knows that this is actually a good time to push right now. With 4 monks of his own, that's twice as many monks, although Jordan just gets out a third, and with a superior number of knights as well. So MBL now gonna go in for the conversions, and he might be able to push Jordan all the way back. Jordan adding a second stable now. It's coming up a lot later than MBL's, but he hasn't needed it so far. He's defended just fine. Can MBL get the... No, he can't. I was going to say, can MBL get the monk? But nope. And Jordan will delete the knight to prevent the reconvert as well. So MBL making a little push. Wasn't really able to make anything out of it. And for now, we'll just retreat away again to hold the middle ground. And yeah, I mean, this map is... Just looking at this map, by the way... There is 1 hill between the players, and MBL can definitely keep an eye on that. Later on, maybe put a castle up here with the frank cheaper castles to kind of hold the center of the map. And then if you look at where the resources are placed, all of the bonus resources are up to the north here. So the bottom half of the map, I mean, if you draw a line from this corner to this corner, the bottom half of the map is basically devoid of anything. I mean, there's trees, there's a little bit of stone, but there's nothing of interest to these guys. So here we go, another push coming in. MBL now going forward with the monks, trying to get the conversions in. Where are the knights, though? They're a little bit out of position. I'm not sure what MBL was doing there. Why did he send his knights so late? Of course, he's going to throw some spanners in the works of Jordan and now push through, perhaps with his knights. But nope, he's going back once again and just taking a few conversions there and then retreating once more. Now, I feel like if he'd have had his knights in the picture and kind of followed up with them a little faster, maybe he could have done a little bit more there. But once again, just falling back to the middle ground. Now, the advantage for the MBL here is that he has had a chance to grab some relics. If you look at his point of view, he's got great scouting. He does see another relic down to the south, and I'm not sure if there's another relic in his vision. Jordan, however, has also collected 2 relics as well, even without the map control, so he must have had a relic inside of his walls, or maybe very close by to the south here, which means that, yeah, even with the map control, MBL hasn't had a huge advantage yet. You might be able to grab the 3rd relic, but 3 relics to 2 isn't anything to sing home about. What could be worth singing home about for MBL here is the fact that he is up to the Imperial Age right now. He's quite heavy on the stone, so he'll be looking to build a castle out on the front, I imagine. And he's even adding in a 4th TC. It's a bit of a strange time to be adding a 4th TC, but I think he wants to really consider protecting his wood lines here, as they are going to be very exposed. He's kind of forced towards his enemy here, just with the monks. Sorry, with the woodline situation. The knights coming forward for Jordan, though. He'll clean up the monks from MBL super quickly. That was a terrible fight for MBL. 5 monks are still up for Jordan here, and MBL's falling right back as he completes pikemen right now. He wasn't ready for that engagement at all. His monks and knights were a little out of position. The monks were in front, the knights were behind, and Jordan just rolled in with his knights and took down the monks of MBL like no sweat at all. Easily pushing this forward now, as MBL is quick walling with a house here to prevent Jordan's approach. These 5 monks at the back going to be healing up any knights, and MBL now, that brand new TC being put to good use as he garrisons inside to start peppering these knights with arrows. At the same time, pikemen are starting to come out. This could be good for MBL, but this is a full frontal assault from Jordan 23 right now, as he does outnumber MBL by 8 or 9 units at this stage. MBL, though, can very easily swing this around with the pikemen here, obviously just waiting before releasing the pikes and trapping Jordan in this position. As the Imperial Age upgrade comes in for MBL, the pikes are going to go down very quickly, though. Bear in mind, these pikes have only +1 attack, whilst Jordan's knights obviously have a bonus 20 health and +2 defense. MBL needs more monks, he needs more everything at this point. He doesn't have enough military production buildings, I feel, as his barracks are being taken out by the knights here, and the knights are basically impervious to these arrows at the moment. With +2 defense, they'll take so little damage, 20 damage per volley from this TC. It's just not enough to stop this push right now. But MBL, meanwhile, massing up a few more units. Jordan's coming forward, though. Is this going to be a castle drop from Jordan? Yes, it is. Right on MBL's face on that hill. And that's exactly where I thought MBL would put the castle, but Jordan 23 is going to beat him to the chase and drop that castle right on the front. Why is this castle so good? Well, this castle is going to deny a lot of the wood income for MBL. We already spoke about how that wood situation was pushing him towards Jordan's side of the map. It was all in front of his initial starting location, and as a result now, that castle is going to cause some big problems for MBL unless he can deny it. Now, he's got a reasonable force of pikes here. He's got the TC to help. He's got knights coming through. He's got monks behind. If he can kill Jordan's army, he can totally stop this castle in its tracks. But right now, MBL, I'm not sure if he's got enough out here. It looks like he's starting to overwhelm Jordan in this situation, but Jordan's castle is already 75% of the way up, and I don't think MBL's got what it takes to deny it right now. Wow, Jordan's knights are still alive. Even with all the pikes in there, Jordan's knights will maintain their forward aggression and forward momentum into MBL's base. MBL now going to lose villages on his gold. He's lost a lot of access to wood, and the villager count for MBL just tanking. 64 villas versus 104 for Jordan 23. Jordan 23 with a 40 villager lead, throwing down more stables right now, continuing to collect stone for perhaps a second castle, but that was a really aggressive play from Jordan. I like it a lot as he goes up to the Imperial Age, 30% of the way up his Jordan 23. Bear in mind, MBL is already Imperial. He's got a castle coming up right now, so if MBL could just get a trebuchet out, he could maybe push this castle down and regain a little bit of control. But the problem once again for MBL is the lack of wood. This dude can't get enough wood. He just can't get it up. It's only at 200 right now, and that's enough for a single trebuchet and not a lot else. And he needs that, those trebuchets. So right now, he's going to be a bit starved of gold, a little bit starved of wood. Going to try and get the trebuchet up, but this game, man, it's starting to snowball as Jordan 23 will raid the stone on the right side, killing a bunch more villagers over there as well. And MBL 69-70 population versus Jordan's 111. Kind of a bit of a laugh track here for Jordan 23 with the ones, 1, 1, 1, 1. But still, yeah, raiding NBL's eco out here, still finding villagers as well. NBL's reactions really just not there at all. And the kicker here is that NBL's forced to go mass pikes, right, to counter the Knights. Well, Jordan 23 has started with the Throwing Axeman. Throwing Axeman, a great trash counter, countering countering pikes, countering skirms, and doing so very, very well for a cheap unit. It's going to be tough for NBL to do much with his pikes here. Jordan 23 now Imperial Age. He has full map control, basically. He's got another castle at home. He's completing Cavalier. And those Throwing Axemen are starting to mass up. There's already 9 out at this forward castle. There's a couple back here as well where he's not set the gather point, but I'm sure he'll get on top of that eventually. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be really tough for NBL to break out here. He will, however, defend his gold for now, using this villager to fight villagers at arms, getting the win against the Knights on the north side. So maintaining access to gold obviously going to be very important, but where is NBL's wood coming from? He doesn't have any. He's going to build a TC out here on the right side. And this has been under a lot of constant pressure, constant aggression from Jordan's Knights. In fact, he's coming over again with another 4. In fact, look at Jordan here with his monk stealing away with the relic, but he won't get away with it. NBL gonna garrison inside of his TC and protect those vills. But yeah, villagers garrisoned in the TC won't be gathering any wood out here. And Jordan 23's Cavalier are going to be keeping him busy. And even if those Cavalier die, just attacking the TC, he's still denying so many resources from NBL here. NBL on the front still keeping it up with the Trebs, but there go those elite Throwing Axemen now. Plate mail armor coming in so he can get the +4 defense. And Jordan 23 is ready to roll. Really, he's kept the castle up, which is fantastic. Obviously, it really helps that it's on the hill, giving NBL's trebuchets a 25% attack debuff, meaning that this castle is just staying up. And at the same time, the monastery from NBL here seems to have lost its relics as well. Jordan 23 now sitting on 2 relics at the front, and there should be some more. Oh no, my bad. The relics are in this monastery here. But yeah, he just can't take the castle down, and NBL now being a little overwhelmed. It is a really messy woodline on this right side. The villagers bumping and grinding on each other here, as NBL is desperately trying to get some units out. He's actually going for the hand cannons now, which is a solid unit choice. Obviously, against the Throwing Axemen, they'll do quite well. They do get the 10 bonus damage versus Throwing Axemen, as Throwing Axemen are an infantry unit. So they'll do 27 damage minus the Pierce armor, which is 4. Hitting very hard and working as a good counter. In decent numbers, those hand cannons will even stand up to a lot of Cavalier as well. You know, once they're massed up to a point, they'll be pretty solid. But yeah, once again, Jordan 23 is coming in, getting a little ballsy under this TC even. What's he doing? Going for the villagers. The villagers just acting as a little bit of a fodder right now, so that NBL's hand cannons can deal with these Throwing Axemen effectively and quickly. Indeed, they will. This Throwing Axemen basically being thrown away. That was a good trade for NBL right there, but he's still got a long way to go to make it back into this game. He's still hammering away at this castle, but it just won't die. It's got, what, 7 villagers? 8 villagers just repairing full time, and Jordan 23 can repair this for a long time. He's got plenty of stone in the bank, and he's even moving down to the south to grab the stone down here as well. So NBL right now is really struggling for resources. He's at the limit for everything. Only 90 villagers. He's trying to, well, he's actually idling a lot of his TCs, but he's trying to get his villager count back up. And the hand cannons are probably the best unit choice he could make right now as well. I totally think that is the right way to go. But yeah, these Cavaliers still providing a little bit of a nuisance to MBL, still pushing him off the res on the right side. And MBL is really struggling here. There's another wave of throwing Axemen coming in. And MBL is like on zombie survival mode. It's just survive as long as you can, but inevitably, ultimately, it looks like he's going down. I mean, I don't see how he's going to be able to push out here. I think the only way you can do it is if you can just mass enough of these hand cannons, but this is getting expensive. Jordan coming in with the throwing axemen, and sure, he's going to throw them all away, but he's going to get 2 trebuchets out of that. He's going to keep his castle up even longer as a result. But MBL finally threatening that castle to a point where it might go down, but things have just begun. Jordan 23 starting to raid as well around the back with the Cavaliers, starting to bring in the light cavalry, which are not very good in this game, since we're not on the HD edition. They don't get the extra 20 health, or the extra 20% health, I should say. But that's enough for MBL anyway. It's like, stop this madness, just finish this. He's calling GG, and I think well played by Jordan. I think, honestly, Jordan had a great map. He used that to his advantage. You know, he walled up. He did the sensible thing. Did the fast castle off the back of a drush, which is pretty standard. Not an uncommon play at all. And then maybe, you know, maybe he was a bit greedy. And, you know, with the 3 TCs straight off the bat, he was a bit greedy. But MBL never punished that greed. He never got super aggressive. He was very passive in the mid game. He did have a larger number of knights. He did have a larger number of monks, but he never really inflicted any damage onto Jordan at the front of his base. He did try and poke and prod a couple of times, but Jordan was able to repel him with just a few monks and a fairly solid defense. And I feel like MBL's kind of downfall that game was a little bit of a lack of aggression. We already identified how his map was really not in his favor at all. All of those wood lines were forcing him towards the center of the map and towards Jordan. And he needed to play a little bit more aggressively in order to secure those lumber camps. That castle from Jordan on the hill was fantastic, killing off or denying the wood or the main wood for MBL for a long time before MBL came down here, which is just as easy for Jordan to raid, as we saw many times over that game as well. So well played to Jordan. He's going to get that victory, and I know that the map was very much in his favor, but I just want to say, you know, Jordan 23, he's had a 2-year break, and he's already taking games from some of the best players in the world. He's really coming back, and he's coming back strong. So check out his stream when he's live. Give him a follow over there. Show him some support. And hopefully you'll come and tune into my stream as well. Don't forget to tune into MBL. I know he's the loser in this match, but he does provide a lot of entertaining games. I was watching his stream the other day, and he was playing some Black Forest, and he had something like 35 siege onagers, and he was just plowing everything in his sight. MBL loves to plow on Black Forest. So if you're into that, link to MBL's stream is also below the video. But for now, guys, I must thank you very much for tuning in and watching this video. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.